I asked to the doctor if they thought I could make it, and they told me, if you believe in it, we're going to believe with you. The life I'm living now, it's something so special. So I think that my life outside skiing can wait. You know, everyone is talking about the Olympic spirit, sharing experience with a lot of different athletes. For me, when I am at the Olympic Games, I am on a mission.
Goggia's flying home here. Goggia!
Our guest today is one of the most fearless downhill skiers the sport has ever seen. A racer who defines speed, not just as performance, but as identity. This is Sofia Goggia. Sofia, as I said before we kick-started today, I've wanted to sit down and have a good old chinwag with you for 10 years now. I've followed your career in awe, we say, and in awe means with the wow factor at the top. And here we are to find out a little bit more about you, tell some stories, and understand what gives you this magical, burning desire. Let's start where you grew up, because it's not exactly a big international ski resort. Yet the mountains somehow, they became your compass, your life. What do you remember from those first trips as a young girl to the ski slopes?
Well, I started to ski when I was 4 in Fopolo, which is one of the closest ski resort to my hometown, which is Bergamo. So it took just 50 minutes of driving to get there. I have an elder brother, Tommaso. He is 3 years older than me. And when I was a child, I just wanted to do every single thing he was already doing. So I spent the winter of when I was 3 years old, crying because he was already on skis and my mom didn't want me to ski. And so she decided to let me go after one season. And Fopolo is a really little ski resort, doesn't have so much to offer. But at the same time, for us, it had everything.
What made skiing as a youngster feel like yours? Was it love at first sight? Was the passion there immediately? Or was it just the fact that you wanted to chase your brother?
Well, I cannot clearly remember if it was real love at the first sight, but for sure I was really lucky because at the beginning I found this ski teacher, Nicola, who taught me a lot about ski racing, about having the will to want to be faster than the other skiers. And I think for the first time in my life, I felt I was really good at something. And with his conviction, I wanted to follow this path. But what I say is that when I was young, I was doing really a lot of different activities. Like I was playing the piano, I was swimming, I was playing tennis, I was skiing, and then also, of course, I had the school. And then I think I always say that if the tennis teacher was more convincing me than Nicola, I would have probably played tennis. But I was lucky. I found Nicola on skis.
Hey, Nicola, if you're watching in, thank you.
Thank you.
We'd lost her to the tennis world. Now, we all know you as this downhill superstar. We all love you as this downhill superstar. But it all started when we saw you on an international basis with giant slalom. Was that your first passion in alpine ski racing?
No, I think I have always been devoted to downhill since I was a child. I can remember in some training that we made after the school in the afternoon. When the training was over, with all the other kids, we went with our rucksack down and we were like straight ahead on the slope. And it was really with muggles because everyone skied on the slope on the day. And I needed to prove myself I was fearless and I wanted to win this downhill, and since I was like 9 years old, my dream has always been about winning the Olympic Games in downhill. And yeah, of course, then you start with giant slalom and technical events. But I think my passion has always been speed.
Speed, the need for speed. But your success, your first podiums, your first championship medals came with giant slalom.
Yeah.
But how important is it as a high-speed ski racer to have those giant slalom skills? Because you still want to race giant slalom. We still see you come back to the World Cup. Sometimes it's a little frustrating for you. But are those GS skills the key elements to success in downhill?
Yeah, I think so. My first podium in World Cup were on giant slalom. Then, I made one podium in giant slalom. Then we went straight to Lake Louise. So I had my first downhill podium and also Super G podium. And so at this time, I was really complete as an athlete, both technically and also in speed. Then I think that I was really obsessed with winning the gold medal in Pyeongchang 2018. So I decided to be more focused also with my physical preparation on strength. And I became a little bit like slower, and maybe I lost a little bit of my technique in giant slalom. And yeah, I won the Olympic Games. I won my first globe in downhill. But at the same time, not skiing at my top level in giant slalom made me suffer a lot. And I had some years in which I really struggled in this discipline. I felt like I couldn't ski anymore at this level. But I started again, like in 2022. I wanted to. I made the decision to try another technical path with my coach that now is like with me since 3 years. And in training grounds, sometimes I really do ski well. And I think that the speed is there, but it takes nothing to demonstrate this also on races. But it seems like something I'm really following and looking forward, but still that day hasn't come yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I had a lot of podium in World Cup, and I think I had so much more. I won so much more rather than what I thought I could do when I was a child. But at the same time, I think that coming back on the giant slalom podium when this will happen, if this will happen, will be for me as a victory in any other discipline or in downhill. It's something I'm really putting my effort and my commitment on, and it's something I really wish for and want inside of my heart.
Those are wonderful words. Can I ask you a little bit about your family?
Yeah.
We see them every now and again on the World Cup tour, especially your dad. And he seems to be your number one fan, which I think is beautiful. But your dad doesn't have a huge connection with skiing.
No.
And he's not a ski racer. It's not his thing. But he's still there. I mean, I commentate, see him in the crowd. Oh, there's Sofia's dad. But he still loves to come and watch you perform after all these years.
He's popular because he's one of a kind. I mean, I both love really much my parents. My mom, now they are both in, like, they don't work anymore or just do little things. But my mom was a professor of Latin and letters, and my dad is a civil engineer. So they had both the passion when they were young for skiing, but no one in my family has ever been an athlete. So to be sincere, I don't like so much my family is following me through the races, like during the season on races, because that's the day in which I have to work, you know. And I prefer them to visualize them when I have a race, like on the sofa at home with a fireplace, like really calm with the dog. But sometimes they ask me, "Hey, can we join you at some races, maybe in Italy?" And I say, "Yeah, of course." And yeah, it's good. It's really good when they come, and maybe I have a really good result, so I can share my happiness with them, and I can see they are proud of me. But you know, I think they are my. I was really lucky, and I'm still lucky to have those two kind of parents, because they never pushed me into ski racing. It was just my choice, and they gave me everything to support this decision, and that's it.
And do you think that's what gives you your normality, your grounding? I mean, this is why people love you so much, and you're one of the popular characters of the Women's World Cup Tour, because you have your feet on the ground, not having parents that are former ski racers, coaches,
No.
ski instructors, but just lovely, normal parents. Do you think that's helped Sofia Goggia?
Yeah, I think what my dad say to me every time that we get to meet, because I'm always like not at home for trainings, for races, for media events. So we get to see really few. Also, if we live like 12 minutes from my home to their home. But I think that every time I meet my parents, especially my dad, he asks me, "Are you happy?" And then every time I say hello after a conversation with him, he always say to me, "Remember, Sofia, the thing that count the most in your life, it's the quality of how you live, not what you have." And so it's always top number one. Like, he is a civil engineer and he has also an artistic soul, and he goes hunting and fishing. He has really a lot of passions, and I think he honored his life pretty much following what he had inside of himself. And I really do enjoy to spend some times with my dad, but also with my mom.
That's wonderful words. Let's talk a little bit about these Amadian podiums, these
I'm
amazing...
thinking about it. So
You're thinking about what?
I'm thinking about my father. Sorry. I mean, you know, every time someone asks me about my father, I say that all the people that got to know him somehow loves him,
Yeah.
because he is one that gets into your heart. And every time I think about my dad, I laugh because he's funny. Who knows him
Yeah.
can confirm these words.
And they always seem to find him on the TV when he's in the finish area.
Yeah, I mean, because he is so characteristic.
He
you know,
is.
he has this hat like with some plum of some birds that he's been hunting for, or also from the chamois. He seems like an hunter, but he really is. And he comes to every event like bringing himself. And this is what I love about my father.
So cool. Lovely. Absolutely beautiful. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad. But let's move on. Conversation to talk about next is, let's talk about this race pathway, and let's get into the detail. Your breakout year was in 2017, as you mentioned. 13 podiums, 2 victories, and 3rd overall. I mean, that's kind of hitting the World Cup Tour with a B for bang.
Yeah, that's my style. I mean, that's a little bit my style, yeah.
And did you understand then, and did you sort of start to really get that passion that you've described to us in that breakout season? Hang on a minute, I can really rule the waves here. I've got this. Or did you feel that, right place, right time, good results, but did you feel that you were going to become a superstar?
I would not define myself as a superstar, but I think that before that season, I knew I was ready. I felt it inside of myself. I said, I am really ready to express my potential, and so I'm glad I could do it.
And then we're starting to realize that there's this fiery girl from Bergamo that has this really exciting style, this fearless approach, different to any of the other Italian racers that we've seen for a long time. And it all comes together perfectly for you in Pyeongchang. 2018, an Olympic gold in downhill. What changed for you in that day?
You know, I think that winning the Olympic gold medal is the maximum expression of the sport for every athlete, no matter the sport and the discipline. And it's something I've been always dreaming of. The day happened that I became an Olympic champion, but nothing around like really changed. I was still the same person I was the day before and also after. Maybe, okay, maybe some media stuff more to do. You're an Olympic champion for your country, and I'm really proud when I can ski also for my country. It's really like satisfying and makes me really proud to bring good result for my nation, for Italy. I love to sing the anthem, but at the same time, if I have to think, it's just a good result. I mean, my dog loves me the same. My dad loves me the same. So my mom and the person that I have just around me. But yeah, you are an Olympic champion.
And Italy now loves you. That is a true fact.
Uh,
Italy has
and
their new champion.
I think that Italy, yeah, I mean, the nation is always happy when you get to this kind of result. But yeah, when you are under the lights, someone can love you, someone can hate you. The notoriety, being a public character, brings ups and downs also.
But another reason why I think so many of the Italian fans love you is we can't talk about your stories and your ski career without talking about injury.
Ah,
And some of them were dramatic. Some of them were really bloody scary to watch, to be honest. And yet somehow, in a spectacular way, you faced them all. The hand in San Moritz, the tibia in Cortina, right before the Olympics, and the countless knee issues during training throughout your career. Your path, I think it's fair to say, has been interrupted again and again by crashes, fractures, surgeries, moments that would have ended many athletes' careers. And still, every time you come back full of speed, no hesitation, no question. The determination seems to get bigger the more you smash yourself in. Where does that determination come from?
I think, yeah, I had really, if I have to think back and to look back at my career, I had really a lot of difficult moments, like with all the injuries that I had. But I think that what helped me out to when I was ready to get back on skis, it's the thought that I wasn't the same person when I got the injury. So I said, my physique is okay. I have the strength. My knee is stable. I can still perform well. And I just want to follow my dream and to follow my passion. And I'm really glad I had never had any kind of hesitation after coming back from all of my injuries. I think this is one of my inner strength, and but I think it's something that you have in your DNA, and yeah, I never had any kind of hesitation. What happened in the past is in the past, and you have to improve yourself as a person and as an athlete to try to still give your best if that is what you really do want and desire into your heart, into your mind. And yeah, I just look at the mirror and I say, what do I want still? And I say, every time I made this answer, this question, I answer myself, I want to be back on skis and I want to see the green light.
Do you ever watch any of those crashes on the TV
Yeah,
after?
sure. Many times.
And you don't go, oh.
Yeah, just, yeah. I think one of the most tragic, like, to see was in Cortina before the Olympic Games of Beijing 2022. Like, when I got with my legs in this position at 110 kilometers per hour, then the external took me still inside, and I got like this movement with my body was not good to see, like how I open my legs.
Yeah.
But then it happens. I mean,
Yeah. And then
but I think that the most injury that really like got me inside of myself with the image, like I felt really, really bad, was the Brignone's injury. I think it was really tragic to see. And the days after I was on skis, I was training on the period, and there hasn't been any day in which I didn't think about the movement of her leg. It was really traumatic for me also to think about her crash.
Yeah, I hope she has the same fearless approach to her comeback like you have done. And I'm sure she'll learn from you how to do that in her comeback, because I agree. But when you had that crash in Cortina, and I was commentating live at the time, I thought that was it. Bye-bye, Sofia. I was nearly crying in the commentary box, to be honest. It looked so bad.
I thought the same. I thought the same because when I like stopped, I really couldn't feel my legs. But at the same time, they wanted to call like the ski patrol, you know. But I said, hey, no, this is my Cortina. I have to cross the finish line with my skis on my own legs, and then we will make all the exam and everything. But I can clearly remember when I put my skis on and I tried to go to the finish line, I couldn't feel anything from half of my leg until the feet.
Yeah.
I was like, my nerves were really like any kind of feeling. And I thought my knees has something for sure. I thought I made the ACL at the beginning, and then I flew to Milan. And while I was on the MRI, the doctor, before they made me like a visit, and Sean Huber, which is the doctor that followed me since I was 14 on my first injury, said, I think your ACL is quite gone. Instead, when I was doing the MRI, he screamed like in the room, and he said, Sophie, the ACL is gone, but not fully. Not fully. So, the MRI said that I had a damage to all the structures in my knee, like the MCL, ACL, meniscus, a little fracture on the head of my fibula, but nothing broken like completely. So I asked to the doctor if they thought I could make it. And they told me, if you believe in it, we're going to believe with you. So it was really a hard time, but at the same time, I don't know where I found my strength, but I was like guided by a light inside of myself. And it's been a tough period, but for sure, for all the people that helped me out to get out of this situation and to bring me to Beijing, it was one of the best period of my life for the support that I had, for sure.
So the support is there. You all make the decision. we're still going to go to the Olympics. You're the Olympic defending champion. You go
Yeah.
all the way to Beijing. 3 weeks recovery. Was it 3 weeks recovery time?
Yeah,
Or-
I had 23 days from the Super G in Cortina until the downhill day on
Of
the
the
race of the race. Yes, and I also was supposed to be the flag bearer at this time for Italy, but I remember I had a call when I was coming from Milan to my hometown from the president of the CEO, Giovanni Malagò, which he gave me he wanted me to be the flag bearer, and he said, "I don't care about you for the flag. I just want you to rehab, do everything because you have to win the gold in Beijing 2022." And I was on crutches and I had no feeling in my knees. And I said, "Giovanni, I will try everything I can, but I cannot guarantee anything this time."
So we get to the Olympic Games in Beijing. And I say in my commentary, I'm not sure whether this lady should be here. I'm not sure whether this lady is strong enough in the body, but I am sure that mentally this lady is going to put on an amazing show. Did you ever believe after that injury? I must point out she won the downhill in Cortina the day before the Super G crash. Let's get that on record. Then we're off. Recovery, rehab. You come back to defend your Olympic title when not just Nick Fellows, all the commentators from all over the world. How on earth has she done this? Or is she really ready? And then, Sofia, tell us the story of that day, because, wow, what a day.
You know, my arrival in Beijing was not easy. We had to do the COVID test like 1 week before, and my ski man was positive to the COVID, so he didn't flew with me. I had to train like with my skis done from another ski man, and in China there was really a different crystal of the snow. It was really hard to ski on it and to understand. Plus, I had really a tough physical condition, but luckily and paradoxically,
We'll take that.
yeah, and it was a paradox, but I felt better on skis, like leaning on my legs rather than walk, because I could count on a good muscle strength. And, I had the first training run. I was scared at that time because I had really a lot of doubt in myself. And also the day before the Super G, I fell again on the third gate of the warm-up training, and I thought still it was over. And then I came to the star gate of the downhill on the first day of the inspection of the first training run. And I saw the 5 rings, Olympic rings, with Beijing 2022. And I had a click, and I said, this is why I made all this path and I'm here. So the first training run was not easy. New slope, difficult snow to interpret. And then there was this part like before the final part, which was on a flat. It was like a tube, like an half pipe.
Yeah.
And we had to ski the downhill. And I didn't know if I could trust my left leg. But then I had my first training run and I crossed the finish line. And then in that moment, I understood that I could afford to do this downhill. Then we had the second training run and I was 7th. And I knew I still had a lot to work on. Then I was supposed to do the third training run, but it was canceled. And then we had the race day, but I knew I couldn't count on my direct lines because I didn't know how my physique was going to react. And as soon as I crossed the finish, at the start, I could have for myself to be first, second, third, fifth. It would have been still a miracle. To crash, it was maybe so obvious for everyone because what she wanted to do here. I had the finger like pointed, but at the same time, this injury led me to the Olympics without so much pressure, maybe. So I was free and I said, I'm just going to do my downhill. Then once I crossed the finish line, I see the time. And I was leading, I saw green light and I saw 4,100s ahead of Nadia Del Lago. I screamed a big yes with all the breath that I had in my body because I knew I was going to make a medal. But in that moment, when I saw the advantage that I had, I knew for sure inside of myself that my time wasn't enough to win the gold. And then Corinne Suter came 2 numbers later, and she was 1,600s ahead of me. And I think I would have signed for this medal. I mean, I won a wonderful silver medal. And I mean, it's something that maybe not every athlete do the Olympic medals, But at the same time, those 1,600s still
hurt
a bit, yeah, a bit. But I think that from disappointing situation, like not disappointing, or when you really don't get what you want, this is the fire for giving the best of yourself in the next races and the next years, in the next season.
0.16 of a second when nobody thought you were going to be there is still a remarkable story.
Oh, but I think that the person that knew me well and that knows me well, that know me well, maybe they were surprised for this, but not so much.
I think it is a remarkable story, one of the ultimate comeback stories. And I never thought you were going to get a medal. I thought you'd come 5th, 7th and show your skill. And for me, when you took that silver medal, it was just like the gold 4 years before. The way you did it was just amazing.
Sophia. You know that the value of the medal are inside of the color of the medal, gold, silver, bronze. But I think that the path that led me to the silver was so much more fulfilling me rather than the first Olympic Games. But, I love Olympic Games because in World Cup, you have ski races. It's World Cup. Olympic Games, as Alberto Tomba says, Olympic Games, they are games, so we play, with his Romagnolo accent.
Yeah.
And this is something that has, it's really the value or what it really means to me, the Olympic. It's a game and it's my favorite game. And I want to ski for the pleasure to play.
Now, speaking of favourite games, there's one coming up this next season.
Yeah.
In February, the 25th Winter Olympic Games in Milan Cortina, starting on the 6th of February. It just so happens, I think in downhill, you've won on this Olympic track already 4 times?
4 times, yeah.
4 times in your World Cup downhill career. Based on the emotions that you went through in Beijing, based on the skiing that you demonstrated in Pyeongchang, you must be looking forward to playing these games.
Yeah, but I have been taking part of the Olympic Games in Asia, so it was really different. This time, I'm coming in Cortina with all the victories that I had on the slope.
Yep.
In Italy, being Italian, so it's going to be really a different situation rather than the 2 past Olympic Games. I just want to stay in my bubble, isolating myself from everything. So as I already did in my first 2 Olympics, everyone is talking about the Olympic spirit, sharing experience with a lot of different athletes. I think I can really understand this social aspect, but for me, when I am at the Olympic Games, I am on a mission. And I've never met any athlete of any kind of sport, maybe just one because I needed the barbell in the gym and he was using it. But for me, it's isolation, concentration, and give you your best.
And I have one last question on the Olympics. In the crowd, will there be a man with a nice hat and a feather?
No, I think, yeah, this is a cool story. My mom said to me, hey, I want to come to the Olympic Games. And I said, no. This is my decision and my thing. But she asked it to my father if they wanted to come together. And my father said, no, on that day, I will go to paint some mountains in our valleys.
Really?
Yeah, because he cannot afford himself to feel all this anxiety. So he has to leave his passion, then he will look at the result, and that's it.
That's
great. Yeah,
great.
Also at the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang, he had to do a walk with the dog. He didn't want to look. He didn't want to watch the television. So when my mom said what he replies to her question, I was really laughing because he is it.
That's lovely.
That's why, yeah. But no, I think that on Cortina, I really do love to stay with my team, with the person who worked so hard for me and with me, because they are my family. And I just need to stay really focus on what I have to do on the day, knowing that, and this is my lucky stuff, knowing that I have my parents and the person that really do love me, they will love me the same, exactly as in Pyeongchang 2018. So they are at home, and if it will go well. If it doesn't change who I am and how much I'm loved from them and how much I love them.
That's beautiful words. I think there's a lot of people out there that know that you are the champion to follow at these Winter Olympic Games.
Thank you.
And they will be
because
there
no
in
one
their
says me
thousands.
this, no one says me this, with the injury of Fede, the injury of Marta, everyone says, Sofia, there's you, huh? And I say, oh no, there's me, there's also the other girl of the team, but I know I cannot hide this, I have a lot of eyes on me on these Olympic events. So I'm just trying to give the best for myself, for my team, for the person I love, and for my country. But that's it.
I think the best will do it, personally. I really do believe the best will be enough to make it Olympic medal number 3.
Yeah, but maybe number 3 and maybe some others. You never know what the future holds.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice.
I'd love. But one would be already a lot.
Now, there's one other lady that I wanted to talk to you about who's also won multiple times on the Cortina Olympic downhill trek. She's a great friend of yours. Actually, you've developed a huge respect for each other, admiration. You sort of share this understanding of speed and risk. You know the lady that I'm describing.
Lindsey Vonn. Lindsey Vonn. Who else?
What does that friendship represent to you?
Lindsey has always been my idol since I was a teenager, facing the European Cup races. I was watching the television, I was watching the World Cup Tour, Olympic Games, World Championship, and she was winning so much. And she has been so inspiring to me throughout my career. And racing with her was already a dream to me. Battling with her has been the best thing in my life because she has been so inspiring to me. And I have beautiful moments. We have been sharing beautiful moments together. But I'm really excited about her to think about that we're going to have a great battle in Cortina. 5 years of retirement, a surgery with a kind of replacement. like coming back on skis, making podium on the most difficult Super G that we had the past season, and the training with her also in Copper Mountain, seeing how she works and how consistent she is still. That's really impressive. And I think that one of the best thing I can still do in my career is sharing some other podiums with her.
That's wonderful. And you think at 41 years of age, she's changing the face of women's World Cup skiing. All of a sudden, to be a top racer in your 30s, 32, 33, 34, all of a sudden now is the norm. 10 years ago, it would be 23, 24, 25.
Yeah, I mean, sports has developed through the last 2 decades, sort of longevity. The way of training also physically have changed a lot, and this allowed to the athlete to be to be doing their sport for so much longer rather than some years ago. And I think that there are some young girls who are coming up and they are ready to really get to the first spots of the podium. But I'm still like in a range where I can ski well and have really good performances. So it's a really like gap of age. Like she's 41, I am 33, and we have some 25 girls who are really strong. But at the same time, as I've always said in Italy, there are no old or young skier. There are fast or slow skier. Age is just a count.
It's just a number. I love that.
Number.
I love that. You're either fast or you're slow. Doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah, but the important is that you ski fast. Otherwise, I will be old one day, and if my age will not allow me to ski fast, okay, I think it is what it is. I'm done.
Beautiful words. We're going to move on to another category that we've called icy slope. We have a message for you on the phone from someone who knows you very well. A couple of questions. Their questions, not mine. And see what they have to say.
Nicole.
Hi, Sofia. I hope you're doing well because I have some questions for you now. So first of all, I have to ask, and please be honest, how are your cooking skills? Or maybe you have a special dish that you're especially proud of. So feel free to tell us about memory stories that you shared with your teammates the past years. And then tell us one thing about Sofia, about you, that the most people, or maybe in this case listeners, didn't know. So we are very curious to hear. And in the meanwhile, I wish you all the best for the races this weekend.
Nicole de Lago asked about my cooking skills, which are not that good. I'm really like for a simple cooking, like rice, chicken, vegetables. I'm not like a big chef, but sometimes the last year we were together, like recovering in Copper Mountain, and we had on the Thanksgiving Day, I made the turkey, but it was easy because I put it in the oven. I mean, easy. And then the second question, I think that maybe it's normal that people knows a lot about you, but don't know everything, like everything. Otherwise, if you give all of yourself to people, then nothing remains to you. So I'm really like trying to stay behind of the lights for my private life, but I have nothing to hide.
Okay. I like that answer. Very good. And thank you, Nicole. Thank you. Let's move on this part 3, beyond the finish line. You're a person of many dimensions, passionate, I'd say complex, polarizing. How would you define yourself as a person?
How many words?
As many as you like, really. It's a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I think that intensity, it's the word that describe me better. I think I have also a lot of resistance and my will to get to something, no matter if it's on skis or in my private life or in studying. I have really a good sense of will.
That's a great description. You have many passions: reading, music, the motorbike, the bicycle, and you mentioned earlier your dog. How do these help you find your balance when away from skiing?
I have a lot of hobbies, and I think that this is the salt of life. I gave, and I'm giving everything of my life for this ski racing life. But at the same time, my personality is not just about skiing. I really love to do a lot of other stuff. And this helped me also to live better, my biggest passion on skis.
And I'm also told that you read philosophy and you write and you reflect deeply. What do those practices give you?
Well, I don't read philosophy. I mean, there has been a period in my life in which I wanted to go to the University of Philosophy, but then I didn't find the right balance with skiing. So now I'm studying political science, and I'm going to get the degree in April 2026. So in these days, I'm writing the thesis. And Julia from behind the scene is happy because I said to her, I'm going to organize a huge party on a Roman rooftop with a magical live sightseeing view of the Eternal City.
Wow.
Yeah, but then I really like to spend my time with my friends. I really like to enjoy one glass of wine, to stay with my dog, to go with my dad, to spend time with the person that I love. I'm like really simple.
And do you ever feel the desire to step away from skiing and live more in those worlds that you describe?
No.
Not
No,
finished.
you know what? You know why? I'm really very aware that the life I'm living now, it's something so special, which has a deadline, and I will never find anything like similar to the emotion that I feel when I am at the Stargate, when this career will be done. So I think that my life outside skiing can wait, and I'm so grateful to live this life now. That I don't think about what's going on next. I'm not worried about it. This is, being an athlete is a huge privilege, and as soon as taking a chairlift when the sun rises gets you a lot of emotion, and of course you ski fast, I will do this life.
Looking forward, as an athlete who's won pretty much everything, what do you still want?
I still live for the races, maybe on the circuit. I still haven't won. I still live for the potential I still didn't express. I still live for the emotion that I felt at the Stargate, and the emotion that when you cross the finish line and you see the green light and you were faster than all that day, and the hugs and the moment of sharing with the people that helped you out to get to this result. This is something so fulfilling, and I love it so much. And being an athlete gives you the possibility to be a better person and also a better athlete. It's a devotion life to be better in something and at something every day. And this is not easy to do, but it's wonderful.
And how do you imagine telling your story to your children or your grandchildren in the future?
Oh, cazzo. Well, I haven't still imagined that yet.
Okay.
I will tell you when we're going to do another podcast in 30 years.
I look
In
forward
Malta, I will come to Gozo and we're going to do,
We'll do it.
a summer edition, okay?
Booked. Okay, let's move on. Let's speed things up because that is the nature of the lady that I'm speaking to here. Rapid fire. Quick questions, quick answers.
Yeah.
First one. Would you prefer 10 downhill globes or an Olympic gold in Cortina 2026?
Nick,
No, come on.
sorry, ma che domande mi fai? Cioè...
I'll say it one more time. 10
No,
downhill globes.
I understand.
I know
I
you
understand.
understand.
Che cazzo? Allora, counting that, I have 4 downhill globes.
You
And
do?
still I have to win 6, which means a lot.
6 more. really.
I think 9 globe and the 1 gold in Cortina.
That's a
Tack.
good trade. That's the perfect trade. That is.
Tack.
And of course, what your fans are saying, that means she might stay for another 4 or 5 years. Please don't go.
We will see.
Okay, rapid fire. Fight or flow?
Both.
Heart or head?
Both. Manica.
It's supposed to be ping pong, rapid fire. Let's keep going. Bergamo or Cortina?
Both.
Both. Okay, shall I answer the next one? Attack mode or control mode?
Attack mode.
Thank you. We're getting in there. Hardest moment to recover from?
The last injury of 5 February 2024, for sure.
It's like a computer in there. Your attention to detail is amazing. The question you never want to hear again.
How many pressure do you feel about being in Cortina 2026?
That is a very good answer. And I can imagine you get that 100 times a day.
Porca troia, sì.
Now, here's a good one. The best advice you've ever received.
Be yourself.
If you weren't a ski racer, what would you be?
A ski racer.
That's a great answer too. Motorbike trip or downhill biking?
Depends, motorbike trip. What do you mean? In Islanda? Maybe with
Yes.
motorbike trip.
I
Yeah.
thought so, yeah. Beach or thermal spa?
Beach.
Christian Gadina or Franz Muchmeyer?
Oh, cavolo. I love them both.
Okay, so do I actually. Dominic Paris or Christian Gadina?
I love them both. But I mean, I'm more connect with Dome because he is... the surname that I gave to Dome is Papi, il cucciolo, you know? A little
Yeah.
animal. Is totally ironical.
Because he's far from a little
Because
animal.
he's huge.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have spent a lot of time together also in training. So I say Dome because I feel him more close.
That's a good answer. Isolde Kostner or Deborah Compagnoni?
Deborah, because she has 3 gold medals.
Not for so long, though, maybe. Bodie Miller or Lindsey Vonn?
Lindsay.
Schifrin or Vonn?
Oh, cazzo, no, che brutta. That's not fair. Eh? Cioè, no, we fight for politically correct, but this is not fair. I say Lindsay because she has been inspiring when I was young, but I have, of course, a lot of respect for Michaela for what she did, she's doing, and she will do.
Perfect answer. A glass of red wine over dinner or a run at sunset?
But I cannot run with my knees, so I have for sure to decide that the glass of wine.
That's a good one for a glass of wine. I love that. Last question, simple one. Are you in love?
With skiing, of course.
That is...
Ma anche paraculo che te sei!
Sofia, thank you for your honesty,
Thank you.
your fire, and your vulnerability today. Your story reminds us that greatness is not absence of fear, it is the decision to move through it. And to all of our listeners, thank you for joining us. Subscribe, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and all the platforms from the stories of the Audi FIS Ski World Cup. I'm sure you will agree, this lady is just on fire. Sofia, thank you.
Thank you so much for this conversation.
Queen's English. Tremendous.
And I would have said, oh, thank you so much, Nick. I'm so impressed by the conversation we made today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much,
Wonderful.
Sofia.
So much.
Princess of Bergamo, my honor.
Oh, thank you.
Alpine Pulse is an official podcast of the FIS, produced by Maniac Studios.